Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. Today we'll be demonstrating how we can use Exalate to manage an effective cross-company collaboration. Now we often come across this use case whereby two independent companies, both using Agile methodology, both having their own Jira boards, need to collaborate on a specific project. Now, an easy way to do that would be to set up the project on one company's Jira instance and allow the other party to gain access to that. Now, that opens a Pandora's box of security challenges, access rights, and all that. An easier and a much more efficient way would be to use Exalate and to continue to work in your own independent Jira instances while seamlessly collaborating on those project issues. Both boards would be in sync in real time, and both parties can update both sides. Now, in this use case, both parties would do exactly that. How we've set this up is the Acme software company is using a Jira Cloud instance, whereas the Jerry Manufacturing is using a Jira Server instance. Now, they've got their own projects set up completely independently. They've got their boards set up. So the Rocket board resides on the cloud side and the TTS board is on the server side. Now, how we've set this up is that the cloud side already has a Rocket board, which is completely empty. And the server side has a TTS board, again, which is completely empty. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a sprint to start off. So the cloud side is going to create a sprint that is going to escalate over to the other side. And in addition to that, we'll create a hierarchy of issues on the cloud side, some of which are in the sprint and some of which aren't. All these relationships and all this data would be taken across exactly as it is to the other side while maintaining that relationship. If story 2 is part of the sprint, it would be part of the sprint on the other side as well. The idea is that the server side would then kick off the sprint, which would of course be updated back to the cloud side. And they would start to move the issues around on their boards and updating stuff, which of course, again, would reflect on the other side in real time. And if we get time, we'll add some more issues from the server side, which would again reflect exactly the same way on the cloud side using the sync. Right, so in order to kick this off, let me start this off by creating a sprint on the cloud side. And let's just call it Apollo sprint. And let's keep the dates as it is, and let's just create it. Right, now we need to create a placeholder for all our tickets. So I'll create an epic for that, and we'll add several issues to that epic. Right, now in the meantime, Exalate is working in the background and it's picking up whatever stuff we're creating on the cloud side, and it would try to replicate that on the server side. All right, let's start by adding some issues to our cloud instance, and they will all be added under the epic for now. So we've got 6 issues. What we're going to do is make 3 part of the sprint, whereas the other 3 would just remain outside the sprint, and I'll show you how that relationship is maintained across to the other side. Right, so we've got our 6 issues created. They should be on the board as well now. Right, so we've got our 6 issues created. Now, before we start moving them to the sprint, let's see if there's anything carried over so far to the TTS side. Right, so we already see our sprint is created and it's got carried over exactly the same dates as the other side. Now, the epic would still be syncing probably. We can monitor this from out here. So it's already created the server-side server-side copy of the sprint, right? So the epic 2 already exists, and now we're just waiting for the child issues to sync over. Right, we'll just give it a few seconds before moving things to the sprint. Right, so a few of the issues have arrived on the server side, so we'll just give it a couple of more seconds to sync over. Cool, so we've got all our issues populated on the board. Right, now let's begin the fun stuff, whereby we'll move some issues to the actual sprint, and this should reflect exactly the same way on the server side. So once those issues arrive in the correct sprint, we'll begin the sprint on the server side. Right. So on the server side, we have our sprints, we have our issues within the sprint. Now, let's say that the server side kicks off the sprint, adding a goal and just kicking it off. Now, this should actually start the sprint on the cloud side as well. Okay, so we got the goal there, which we added from the server side testing, and this should now, the sprint should now be active. Great, perfect. So let's say we add some comments to task 2. Obviously, all these issues are totally in sync, and this is also to the story. Right, and let's say that the cloud side moves the bug to in progress and the story to done. Right, so we made several updates, and these should all reflect on the server side. So now let's switch over. Right, so the board already reflects that it was faster than I got there. Okay, so let's take a look at the comments that we'd already added. Uh, so this was hello from cloud, and I believe I added to the story as well. Right, so in the interest of time, let's just close all the issues. And again, this should reflect back on the cloud side. Cool. So they have all moved over to the close side. And now let's say that the server side completes the sprint, marks it as complete. Now this should also reflect on uh, the cloud side. The sprint will close, and we can access the reports from there. So this would be like the complete agile synchronization between two systems, which you can achieve using Exalate. So let's just wait for the one to complete. So we can look at sprint report is what I want to look at. Obviously, it should be identical to this one, obviously. So yeah, my Apollo sprint is closed already, and it's closed by the Exalate user, and all the issues within it are closed. Everything else on the board should still be there. So what I mean is, sorry. So these, remember, were not part of uh, your sprint. So these would remain, and yeah, you can again the whole cycle starts again. Create a new sprint. It will sync over, add the issues, and continue to work. So hope this video was useful for you. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.